something for you today. Yes, we do. Well, see if I can sit down here without my dog jumping on me. I got this clean shirt on. I'll see how long that lasts. Oh my. Uh, we'll have to see. I don't think it's gonna last too long. He's got some really muddy feet today, as he always does, since he hangs out under the misters. It's just about 100 degrees on the I guess it's the 15th of September, Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. I got this for my little rescue lightning. And what are we going to have for a thumbnail today? It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be something I've always wanted to do. In concession. See, I guess I got over 600 videos right now. But what I'm going to do now is condense them in a smaller format of when I went out into the desert and lived at 22 years of experience. It's 1976, and I ran into some really interesting people. They were spiritual people, but spiritualism can go positively or negatively. And basically what it comes down to is there's one source. That one source that makes us, our eyes glisten and us to be able to breathe. Once that source is taken away from us, we go to a different level. We're still alive, but we're in a finer body. I'll just leave it at that for right now. There is no death, yet your soul can die. But I'm going to go into that another time. I'm not bringing it up. I am just bringing up shamanism. And I don't know. The guy had a lot of requests for us, so yeah, I met a shaman back in 1976, and a lot of things changed for me. I already had two spiritual teachers, so I had a heads up. I knew what was going on. All right, spiritually. All right, that's right up there. I knew about healing. I knew a lot of stuff, even at 15. And so I was ready for this. I was ready for this spiritually and physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, I was there. I was down. Who was this saying hi? Hey, Mila, it's adventure time. Hi. Yes, it is adventure time. Let me tell you what. It's the adventures of Uncle Martin in the desert with a shaman medicine man and his tribe. Well, I don't know about a tribe. It was four Indian girls. They always had something around their left foot with a bell, but that comes in later. And then there was okay. The shaman had a devotee, a chela, someone that was getting information to be the next shaman, that kind of guy. His name was Miguel. Both their names were Miguel, so I'll say Miguel Jr. for the disciple guy. All right, just try to keep thinking. And then the Junior, we'll just call him Junior. Junior had a girlfriend. She was beautiful. She was like half Indian. I don't know what, really high cheekbones, but she was half Indian and half white, but tall, slender, beautiful, total beauty. And I guess they were going to get married. Hold on. I dropped my magnifying glass. Some people are trying to talk to me. TT, how's about that then? It's Jimmy Seville. All right. Michael Cantor. Michael Cantor, how could you ever say that? And crazy banana chick, scream Diddy, and I'll subscribe. There's a lot of people screaming Diddy, but it's not very positive. Screaming Diddy is not very positive at this time, unless the guy's been framed. You never know. But there's a lot of people in line wanting to get this guy. I don't know. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. I want you to just finish one of my sessions. This one's on the shaman that I didn't live with him, but he came in at different parts of my life when I was living out in the desert. All right, this is fantastic stuff. Michael, can I? What do? Are you a troll, my little brother? You know what I have to say to you? No matter how you were abused, how people thought you were a piece of, you're not. You're a mighty being of light. All right. I just want to get that across to you right now, because whatever you say to me, forget about it. All right. We're past all that. And little trolls, you're all welcome, by the way, because you sit back, everyone. You're in for a ride that you're probably not ready for. So Uncle Martin went out at 22 years of experience because Dad no longer had Parkinson's. Yeah, imagine that. He had Parkinson's, then he didn't have Parkinson's. Well, my job was done. I left Jersey off the railroad. I came out for 1 year, and all of a sudden Dad doesn't have it anymore. So it's time for me to move on. What am I going to do? I can't go back to the railroad. We were survivalists. So I said, hey, what the heck? I'll go live out because I'm not gonna drive or take a plane back to Jersey to live in the woods and see how. I'm right here in Arizona. I'll go out in the desert. I'll live in the desert because we were brought up survivalists, semi-survivalists. I wanted to say, does anyone out there say to themselves, could I go out and live off? Could I go out and live off the land? Everyone says that. Can you do it? Can you live in your house like this year I did and not turn on your swamp cooler or air conditioner when it hit over hundreds of degrees? Could you do that? I already did that on the last episode, the live I did. I got proof. I showed you the bill I had. I'm there, man. I've done it and I'm doing it. All right. So I'm just giving you some heads up. Who's out there? Hey, YTTG. Hello. Okay. I'm beloved every time a troll. By the way, if you have gas problems, I've got something for you. It's peppermint tea or spearmint tea, or stop combining the wrong combination of foods, because that'll give you gas. It'll give you gas. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I got cosmic humor. You can't hurt me, man. You can try, but it's not going to work. So this is the deal. The shaman medicine man. Okay. So I'm thinking in my mind, Dad's okay, where can I go? All of a sudden, the next day, a buddy of mine from high school comes in, Gary, says, hey, I just found out about some people that live 3 hours from here. It's called the Indian Spiritual Hot Springs. And they live out there with not many clothes on, and there's hot springs all over the place. And I heard about it. I said, hey, this is fantastic. This is something that I want to do. So we headed out the next day. It was a full moon. And by the time we got out there off the highway, we were lost. And I said, well, I know it's that way somewhere. So we followed the moon. I know it's crazy. But we went right to the place. True story. So we get up there, and this kid, we call him the imp. I'm calling him the imp because it's going to come full circle here. Just put it on the back shoulder. I call him the imp because he was sitting up on it's a 3-story Victorian house. It was built back in the 30s. Jet setters came there. I got a whole line of stories on that. But he's sitting on the porch. He's eating his gruel. I don't know if it was gruel. I found out later it was sesame seeds and chia seeds and some kind of oats with water. That's what these were people that were not cooking their food. They were eating raw foods. And if they cooked any food, it didn't go over 138 degrees because you kill it. Yeah, that's what I kept hearing from these people. So we spent 3 days there over the weekend. And I said, man, this is a place for me. So I told the people that it was like 52 of them. There was 24 on the board. And I said, I want to come back here again. And they said, oh, no, there's no room for you. I said, no room for me? There's 300 rooms up here in this 3-story Victorian house has over 300 rooms. How is there no room for me? And they said, oh, dude, sorry, just can't. We got people from all over the world that come here, and they got their room assigned. Plus, this is owned by some, they didn't really say who it was, but I think it was Mick Jagger at the time in 1976. Bands came and go, okay? I'm just not going to go there right now. I'm just saying there was the imp, that I'm talking about, the even the gruel. His father was a well-known director in Hollywood, and he left. I'm just going to call him the imp, and his two sisters there to be watched by these people. Oh, why would you do that? Always take care on who's watching your children, by the way. I can't get that across enough, man. Okay, Tatiana. Aloha, Tatiana. Tatiana, I believe, means little star, if I'm not mistaken, by Indian terms. Wait, okay, so I'm talking to the head people of this property, and they said, no, you can't stay here. We don't got no room for you. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know it was a nudist commune, and they said it's not a commune, but there was a lot of nudity going on, which didn't bother me, because if you go back to women, 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 and money, or money, 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 and women, 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 the one I put out there, I was primed for this. I was primed for this test. That's what I'm saying, kids. Anybody's watching, you're always tested every day on some level, and some days you get tested more. So my test was. I was being rejected because they didn't like me. So I said, oh, that's too bad. Because they said, yeah, we're going for breatharian. I said, hey, that's fantastic. I've done fasts in my day, and I would someday like to be a breatharian. They said, yeah, well, yeah. And then they said, and plus, only people that live here were all celibate. Hey, do you know what celibate means, kids? Celibate means you don't do the beautiful thing. I went over that in one of my episodes with the nuns, their sex education part. I'm not going back there. It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. But I told them, that's okay, because I'm celibate. And they said, what? You're celibate? You must come. You must come. Come here and live. I said, really? You didn't want me before. Why would you want me now? Oh, because we want you here. I said, hey, that's fantastic. So I went back home. I was driving my 67 Camaro with only 40,000 miles on it, which would be another story. It's a good story. Has to do with the one with the smoking one, with Candyman and Dog Food Man. How Candyman sold me a 1967 Camaro for $400 and it only had 40,000 miles on it. Okay, you put it all together and you look at smoking and you come to Candyman and what I did for those two guys on the railroad. That's why I got the car. I didn't realize that until years later. 1967 Camaro, do you know how fantastic that is? Does anybody know what a 1967 Camaro looks like? It's sleek, it's beautiful. I laid patches for a block long for months at a time until it wouldn't do it anymore. Then I drove it normally. It's a fantastic, what was it, 350 engine or something like that? Okay, Tommy Bell, hi, from Al. Christina Keegan, hi there, Christina. Hey, Christina, hey, hi. All you guys saying hi. If you can't finish, because I'm going to go on to some really, really cool stuff about the Shaman Medicine Man. You might not have time for, so come back later after it's posted, please, 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 please. I'm trying to keep it short, as short as I can, but I'm condensing a lot of stories that I did in the past that are really prevalent to this time right now. Shaman Medicine Man. What do you do when a Shaman Medicine Man comes into your life? What is a Shaman Medicine Man? Well, first of all, he takes the life source, the one life source, and he either qualifies it, which is going positive, or misqualifies it, goes negative. And that's where you come into witchcraft and black magic. The black magic stuff goes, they're misqualifying the same source energy, going negative. The other people are using it positive. So we have a choice in life to choose every day. Are we choosing to qualify our energy, which is positive, or misqualify our energy, which is negative? I gotta say it. Jesus said years ago, pick hot, pick cold. That only means you're qualifying or misqualifying your energy. And you know that because the karma comes back to you tenfold. That lukewarm stuff, and right in the middle, you positive and negative, you're never going to know when the karma comes back to you. Do one side or the other. Qualify the heck out of your energy or misqualify the heck out of it. I don't care. That's what he was saying. Pick hot, pick cold. Uncle Martin's going there too. And I picked a lot of cold in my day, but at 18 I decided to go hot. Yeah. Consciously. We'll leave it at that. Let's get on with the show. So the Shaman Medicine Man. Okay, so I come back and live with these people. It's about 52 people. 52 people at Indian Spiritual Hot Springs, mostly no clothes. It's what we did back then. Well, let's just say, why do we wear clothes? Because it is acceptable by society. Unless you're out in the middle of the desert and nobody's really watching you, and you're by some Indian hot springs, hey, what the heck? Why do you need clothes? And plus, since I went through, again, money, 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 women, 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 I was at that stage where I was going to be happy celibate. That's all there's to it. And they tested me all through that whole year. And the little imp, was there to watch if I would be tested and I'd fall. I came close twice, but I never fell. That would be another story. I'm just saying. This imp is very important because he's like 10, 11 years old. 10 or 11 years of experience. And when I get to the property, that's what I'm saying. This little imp is understanding in 1976 that God is looking for souls. And Satan is looking for souls. And it's a big test on whose soul will be given to one side or the other. And when he said that, he had glee in his face, glee in his eyes. And I don't want to be judgmental, but I think he wasn't really going for the positive side. But he was in between that because he had no one to compare. And that's where Uncle Martin came in. They eventually called me no limitation. Because everything they brought up that was negative, I turned it around and said, hey, what about this way of looking at it? They can go against it because I had no limitation. As I do today, I try to. We've been brought up with limitations, and you got to get rid of them. Whatever you've been taught in school, whatever you've been taught anywhere in life, if you have not applied it correctly, you don't know if it's positive or negative. That's why whatever you consume as information, not until you apply it will you know if it's positive or negative. That's where all these kids in college right now are getting a lot of stuff from professors saying, this is the way to go, this is the way to think, this is the way to that, but it's only one side. And they're saying, this is the only side. And if anybody else comes up against this side, boo, hiss, or maybe just take them out, which would be very negative if you did something like that. Yeah, that's happening right now, kids. I don't know if you realize it, but we gotta always have both sides. And unless you have both sides, you do not, unless you have discernment to decide what side is correct for you, without discernment, I guess you just have more things to learn, all right? All right, let's get on with the show with this shaman, all right? So we're I'm just jumping ahead. It's a flashback, jumping ahead. I'm a half a year there. I've been accepted for a half a year. Half a year on this Indian Spiritual Hot Springs nudist commune. But they don't want to say commune. They had negativity toward that. I don't know why, Melina, bro, I love that. This is so iconic. God bless you. Join the club. I got more for you. Tell your friends. Share Uncle Martin. That's all I can say right now. I got so many good stories that are positive and, well, they could be negative, but they're true. Hard to find a true story. So where are we at? I'm half year. I've jumped ahead flashback-wise half a year. Now, this is what Uncle Martin is doing right now. I'm barefoot for half a year. I have nothing but a blanket. I have a sheep wool pull around. Sheep wool a sheep wool um, sheep wool leather around me. It's really with my dad's navy blanket. It's cream white and it's got a blue stripe. Very very biblical. And then I have my staff. That's all I had. I had my staff, my blanket, and I'm barefoot, man, for like half a year there on this property. I know, I know. Hey, Mehmetarsal. I can't pronounce it, but I like you. Hey, King CJ, you're coming in late, huh? Okay. This is about the shaman medicine man that I ended up. I actually didn't live with him, but he came into my life so many times when I was out at the Indian spiritual hot springs. Just giving everybody a heads up on who's coming in late. Sorry, this is just kicking my butt here on laughter. I know. So okay, so this guy comes into the property. I'm there a half a year. They know me well, for no limitation. I brought that up before, but now this shaman medicine man. I didn't know who he was. I just saw some Indian guy come in, and he had like a younger fella, less experience with him. He had the 4 Indian girls. They always had something around their left ankle with bells, and they had the skinny, not skinny, but she was slender, high cheekbones. She was the girlfriend to Miguel, his Chila disciple. They show up on the land. There's over 100 people on the land, and I'm like over in like the hot springs area, and I'm watching all these people from all over the property run away from this. I'm not saying tribe, but they were coming in. You know, you might say a tribe. It's an Indian tribe, small Indian tribe, and everybody's running. And then the one guy that's out there, I'm sorry, the one guy that's out there by the springs with me, he says, "Run, run! They're here." I said, "Run from what?" He says, "It's the shaman! Run!" And he takes off. He takes off into the house. Now these people come up to me. Now I'm at the hottest part of the springs. It's 119 degrees, and I didn't get in yet. By the way, I held the record there for 5 minutes and 33 seconds. Somebody had a stopwatch. It'll be another story. So the guy comes up to me. This guy comes up to me. Wait a minute. Hold on. Who's this? I said, Uncle Martin. I am going to job right now. See you soon. Love you. All right. Go to your job, but remember to, when I repost this, to finish up where you left off. That's all. Share Uncle Martin if you want. So this guy, all the tribe, the entourage of the shaman is following up to me. He comes up to me and he says, "I am a Yaki shaman medicine man." Gets close to my face. I said, "Hey, I'm Uncle Martin." I shook his hand. That really impressed him for some reason or another. Well, first of all, I had no fear. And then he went and introduced me to the rest of the clan. So I guess I got on a good footing with this guy. What I'm saying is when you're ready for the next level of a spiritual understanding of things, the teacher will always show up for you. This is an esoteric law. Wherever you are in the echelon of whatever you're learning on this lesson planet, when you come to an understanding of a certain amount and you're ready for the next step, some teacher comes in to help you. Now, I already had 2 spiritual teachers already. And all I had now with this guy was the test that he was putting for everybody. It wasn't just for me. It was the rest of the gang. The rest of the gang were all getting tested. What was the test? Well, first of all, that day they came onto their property, it was for a reason. It was a full moon. It was a full moon that day. And I didn't realize that until I'm writing this. I'm doing it, about ready to do this, because I'm condensing all the episodes that I have into try to close it in for the gaps, for you to understand where and what I what I witnessed and what I did that year out there on the desert, barefoot, a blanket, and a staff. I just want to mention real quick, going back a week, my brother showed up. He hadn't been there for half a year. I think he was sent there as a spy by my parents. They said he's in a cult, which a lot of parents should be concerned about right now because people get hooked up in different things, right? I mean, spiritually and stuff, and people don't have always the, let's say, the right intent for the kids, especially at a young age or less experience. Oh, I was 22. I already went through that stuff when I was younger. My point being, my bro showed up. He actually gave me the sheep wool to make the collar for my blanket. Looked really cool, man. A sheep wool collar with, it was like, I'm saying it was my dad's army blanket that he had back in the late 50s. He was on a mine sweep, and he only had two blankets, and that one, wool. Wool is a very high vibration. I'll go into that. Linen and wool and cotton. Those are the three things you should be wearing. Again, I'll go into that at another time. So I had wool, and it kept me cool in the summer, kept me warm in the winter. I'm just saying, I had a wool blanket. And when I put that sheep wool around there, man, that was panache. That was the best thing. Everybody enjoyed that. And the blue stripe on the bottom, I tell you, I would have fit in 2,000 years ago with that staff. I don't know about being barefoot. Probably needed sandals. I don't know. So bro gives me. That's what I'm saying. He was working with leather, and he gave me these moccasins that he made for me. This is fantastic. Bro, I don't need these, man. I'm barefoot, man. I'm over 6 months now in this desert. I got calluses you wouldn't believe. Forget about it. He said, no, you may need them someday. I said, ah. So I hung on to them. So now we're jumping ahead again to where it's a full moon. Shaman medicine man wants us to go that way on a full moon. And he points to the cave. The cave, I have an episode on the cave. I don't know what episode it is. It's just the cave. You can check that out. You'll have more information that I'm going to give right on it. But I will, for those that watch the cave part, I got more stuff for you. So that's the beauty of the story, that I got more stuff for anybody that watched any of the other stuff. I try to do that because I don't want to make it, I'm not repetitive. I just want to build up on the story to where you have more information. That's all. So he says, we're going to the cave tonight. Would you like to go? I said, the cave? The cave? I love the cave. And that was the other part. Nobody could spend a night in this cave. Don't know why. Just when they did spend a night in this particular cave, they came back and they were never the same again. Or they were distraught, or they had visions and they just said they'd never go back there, and all this blah, blah, blah about this cave. And I said, I love the cave. I'll be happy to go there with you. It gets better. So we had it's 7 miles from the springs to the cave. Hey, that's very spiritual. So we head off. We take the river bottom up there, but we don't go right to the cave. I'm saying, wait, where are we going here? The cave is right there, right? He says, no, we're not going there. We're going around. We're going around to this area here. So what area is this, And the Chila, his disciple, pats me in the arm and says, you'll see. So we get up. It's a cholla patch. Cholla. It's called, they call it jumping cholla. It doesn't jump at you. But what it does is it sticks to you. And by the time it gets off the animal, which is usually a wild Mustang or a cow, because that's where we were taking. We were taking a trail of, it was like, okay, I'll go 9 inches. A 9-inch trail. That's all. And that's about where your foot would go down because uh, uh, their hooves have been squashing down the Choya. It's a Choya trail. It's about three. It's about at least a quarter to a half mile long. All right. Now he wants us to go through this trail because we got to get up out of the trail and go to the right for whatever reason. It sounds positive to me. So he's got the four Indian girls with the bells, and I asked the shaman. I said, "Hey, Miguel, Senior, what is with these bells?" And he says, "It's to keep pace. We must keep pace, keep the rhythm, the pace." I said, sounds logical. So they're every time they walk and make a step, it's a jingle, 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 and that's how we're supposed to follow them. So we're going down this trail, and the last girl, the first girl, yeah, there you go. So the four Indian girls are barefoot. They're not having a problem. But the other slender, beautiful gal that's gonna probably marry Miguel Jr. She's barefoot, and she has been getting stuck with a lot of cholla cactus. She keeps bending over, pulling them out of her. And by the way, cholla cactus is like a fish hook that it sticks into you, and it's really tough to get it out. And by the way, if you ever do have that, have scissors, cut off the hind end, and they'll pull out a lot easier. It's something to think about if you're out west. Didn't have any scissors back then, so she's pulling them out, and I said, "Hey," and I had my brother's moccasins on that I said I wouldn't need. So, so I was like, I said, "Here, take my moccasins." So she's happy to take my moccasins, and she's doing fine now. Now I'm getting stuck with all the cholla, getting stuck left and right. But I keep kind of walking because they gave me a lot of medicine. I don't want to go there, but yeah, I did like a 2-day fast, and it was all spiritual stuff, medicine. And I was stopping and pulling them out, and then I looked behind me. And I said, "Hey, Miguel, Senior, I'm really sorry for the holdup." He says, "Don't worry about it." So he's watching me pull out all these cholla cactus out of my feet, and he says, "Hey, by the way, don't don't do it that way. Stand up, look at the trail ahead of you. Look at the trail ahead of you, and use your third eye. The third eye. Look forward. Do not look down. Do not look down. Look forward. Your third eye will guide your footsteps." I said, "Really?" So I listened to him, and I went forward on the trail. I didn't get stuck again by all these cholla cactus on both sides. It was only that much of a trail, 9 inches. And I'm walking right through without not even a scratch now. Hey, isn't that interesting? Always use your third eye. But our third eye has been blemished by different tonal qualities, but I can't go there. It's just something that's happened since the 30s, and I will bring that up, I promise. Our third eye has been blemished to where it's not as open as it should be. And I promise to bring that up someday. Okay. Okay, looks like everybody's doing well. So we get out of the trail. Now we pull off to the right, and it's kind of getting sundownish, about sundown. All the clouds start coming over, and well, at one point we could see the moon coming up over the hill, but now all of a sudden this cloud comes. All these clouds come on, and it gets really dark. It's dark before sundown. It's like almost pitch black. And what he asks for, the shaman asks for, he says, "I want everybody in this group to look for a rock. I need a rock that has a hole in it. It's a lava rock. It has a hole in it this big. This big the rock is, and it's gonna, no holes. Lava. If you look at any lava rocks, kids, anybody's watching, outside the lava rock always has a bunch of little baby holes, a lot of holes. He says he didn't want any, you could have holes on the outside, but he doesn't want one hole on the inside of the rock that has to be about that big. And because he wanted to crunch up all his goodies or whatever he had in the rock. Shaman spiritual stuff. And He needed one. His last one broke. I don't know what it was. Is he testing us? Yes, he probably. Now that I think about it, he probably was. So we all okay now. We're way to the left of the cave. Now he says we're going back that way to the cave. I want you to find this rock. We all dispersed. We all some went around the Troy field. I guess some went through it again. I went. I didn't want to go that trail. I went to the right, and I headed down to the basin of the water. This kind of. Oh, by the way, you had to cross to get to the cave. You had to cross over Indian burial grounds. Indian burial grounds are very sacred. Okay, as you well know or not. Even look at Jeremiah Johnson. All right, and well, that would tell you something right there too. But I watched Jeremiah Johnson. I kind of picked up like it's sacred ground, and I always thought of any burial grounds as sacred. Although big cats came in and they were digging up stuff, trying to get the goodies from the burial grounds. And as of 1977, it was against the law in Arizona to ever get around burial grounds again and take all the goodies. That's a state law, by the way. I was in '76, so I guess they were still doing it out there. And so my point being is I got to the water wash and I followed it down, and I thought I was getting close. Okay, it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't even find a rock if I wanted to. I could not find a rock if I wanted to. So about the time when I'm thinking, this is what I thought in my mind. I thought, maybe this dog needs another treat. He does. Let's give him one more. So in my mind, I'm thinking, actually, I said it verbally. I said, I'm lost. Well, son of a gun, as soon as I said I was lost, which is a joke because we're never lost, we can always be found. The sky opens up. The moon shines through. Off to the left, I see I'm like maybe half a mile, maybe a mile away from the dome mountain that I'm supposed to go to the cave. And I see that I'm like at least that way to the, when I say I'm lost. And now I'm shown that I'm not lost. That my destination is just up there a little bit. And at that point, I said, "Wow, that's amazing!" And the moonlight is coming through, and it's coming through to a chaparral bush. And I think I've shown you guys chaparral bushes on between the buttes. And they were scrawny there, but these were real fat ones. And the moon is shining through, and there's this rock. There's a rock. It's a pyramid rock, and a pyramid rock right in front of me. I said, and this is like, I don't know, 12 feet away. And I'm down in a riverbed wash, but I'm kind of eye level with it as the moonlight's coming down through the chaparral bush. Now, this is the only rock I've ever seen. Out of the whole miles that I've traveled, this is the only rock that I've seen. And in my mind, actually, I think I said it verbally. I said, wouldn't it be nice if that pyramid rock would have a hole in it? And, well, I had to go check it out. Okay, hold on one second. I don't want to throw you off, but the sun's coming down. I don't know where we're going here. All right. Got to switch hands. And, yeah, the sun is coming down, isn't it? Okay. I found a rock. I found a rock that was pyramid. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around. Hope I don't lose anybody. Where is that? Okay, there it is. Yeah, I see my beard is right here. Okay, so I'm going to turn around. Now, this is a pyramid rock that I found under a chaparral bush that I did not turn over yet. And I'd have to say it was definitely a pyramid. What do you know about pyramids? Oh, I'll get into that one too. This is what I found looking at me. This is the rock. I believe it was this way. It could have been that way. No, no. I mean, it looks like a pyramid on both sides, right? Definitely a bird, too. It could look like a bird. But I'm going to go with, yeah, I think it was that way. As my recollection is, I looked at this and I said, oh man, this is a this is a pyramid rock. Wouldn't it be nice to have a hole in the bottom of it? I mean, now I'm saying it out loud. I mean, I'm telling you. And this is what when I went over and I turned it around. Let's see what we got. Is there anything here? Oh no, sorry. Gotta turn around this way. There we go. Hey, does that look like a hole? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Obviously, it is a hole. Hey, get off. Come on, go. Gotta get rid of my dog. Oh, those are my aloe vera plants. Trying to figure out what side we're looking at. There we go. Okay. Can you see inside this rock? Anybody see inside this rock? There are no holes in this rock, like the outside. All right. So what my guess is this looks like the mouth of the cave too, actually. So this is a total hole with nothing inside, like the outside little gut. This is what he's talking about. He didn't want any of these holes inside this. There wasn't any. It's totally smooth. Okay. Okay. So that's the rock. The rock Uncle Martin found. The one that he apparently was looking for. Or one like it. Oops. Sorry for the noise. Let's turn this around again, guys. Okay. I kind of need sunglasses on, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so I get this rock. I get back to the cave. I'm hind end. No one else. If they found a rock, it was a crummy one. So no one found the rock he was looking for. So when I showed him, well, I went up into the cave, and it was a dome. It was a dome cave, by the way. And I went up there and I said, "Hey, look what I found! Look what I found!" And he says, "Yeah, so what?" I said, "Yeah, but," and then we did that. I don't know. Can you really see anything here? Hard to see if. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There we go. Now light is upon us. Okay, can you see where? I'm trying to see if you're able to see all that. I think you can. There's a lot of shadows here, and I'm getting reflection. Just trying to make sure you can see everything in there. There we go. All right. When he saw that part, his eyes opened up about the size of that. At the size of this rock, his eyes opened up like saucers. He says, "I must have it. I'll trade you this and I'll trade you that." I said, "Nah, you know what? This rock talked to me. This rock was talking to me." He says, I would not barter, I would not trade. This was now my rock. It did talk to me, by the way. when the skies opened up and I saw it, I heard it say, "Come and pick me up." I know it's crazy, but the rocks do talk to you. I mean, they have all my life, by the way, but that'd be another story. Um, so from that point, and the sun's coming down here. Where am I? 45 minutes. I'm trying to make this quicker for you guys because I know a lot of you got places to go. But do consider finishing this when I repost it because it just keeps getting better. I promise you. Just remember where you left off. So I'm saying to him, nah, can't trade you. Just can't. And then he says, he starts giving me information. Gives me information on where we're at. This is a dome. This is a dome mountain. He said thousands and thousands of years ago, this was a pyramid. This was a pyramid mountain. And for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, people circled this mountain and then came to this cave that is the mouth of the cave. I said, the mouth of the cave? I like that. So he said, this was not only for ceremonies, this was for initiation. This cave was for initiation. So that kind of makes sense because all the people that went into this cave that did spend a night, they came out crazy or really discombobulated. I went into that some other stories, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm just saying, no one could ever spend a night in this cave, is my point that I'm trying to get across. That I found I was more at home in this cave than I have been anywhere on this planet, all right? And I just put that on the back shelf. So he goes and says, thousands of years they've been coming here for ceremonies and initiation, and it was once a pyramid, but there were some cataclysmic things that went on to where the whole top of this mountain was taken out. The pyramid was gone. All we got now is a dome. It's a dome mountain, which makes sense is because that one crazy guy that did come back, he said, because he tapped into that timeline of when it was breaking up, apparently. He was in the cave. And it was terrible. It was all, the world was ending and everything was crumbling. So he came back crazy and he witnessed that time frame. Sorry. I'm just trying to throw something out there that, I don't know. This cave had things to offer some people, and it didn't have things to offer other people because it's for the initiations for thousands of years. That makes sense to me. So here we go. There's a shitload of ants all over me. How do these ants get on me? What's that bone doing here? He's got a. I gave him a ham bone. You. I gave my dog a ham bone, and all these ants are crawling over me. How could that happen? Yeah, maybe they're trying to stop me from telling the story. It's not going to happen. So, I'll become one with the ants. They are crawling all over me. I refuse to stop at this time. So, he's saying that this is the mouth of the cave. Now, at this point, I'm really intrigued with the mouth of the cave because I said, I got to brush a few of these off. They're getting kind of wild out here. So I said, the mouth of the cave, I have something to say. Oh, I got to stop. The imp. Remember the imp? I was talking about the imp, the little 10, 11-year-old that was assigned to me to watch me closely. He knew that we were coming up here. In fact, the whole gang back at the hot springs, they all knew that we were coming up here on a full moon in this cave. Full moon in the cave over gravestones or Indian burial grounds. Oh my, how crazy does that get? And the imp says, I will light a bonfire you will be able to see 7 miles away. I said, hey, that's fantastic. I didn't put that in my other episodes. That's what I'm saying. This is very yeah, Siberia. It's very, it's part of the story that I forgot to tell you about on the cave. If you ever went to that one, so that's what I'm saying. I'm throwing some new stuff out there for those that did check out the cave. So I said to him, "The cave. It's the mouth of the cave. Well, I have something to say." He says, "Oh yeah, what do you have to say?" "Well, just stand out there in the front of the cave and you say it." I said, "Okay." So I went out there at the edge of the cave. The fire is burning really bright behind us, and all I could see is darkness. I couldn't even see stars. I could see darkness there, but as I go to the right, I see a fire about 7 miles away. So the imp made his promise true. I was able to see their fire 7 miles away. Well, and we're out in the middle desert anyway, so what the heck? Plus, it's just a straight shot there, pretty much. So I said, I've got something to say. So I had this is an imagination thing, to where I imagined that I had blue lightning bolt arrows. And I told the shaman, I said, I've got blue lightning bolt arrows, and there's negativity. And I took it out behind me, to the left, to the middle, and over by that fire. I shot 3 arrows. Before I did shoot those arrows, I said, all negativity, be gone. Then I shot the arrows. Now, immediately after I did this, now this is where it's all true, and people would not believe it, but in my last episodes of the cave, I thought there were wasps, and I googled all the wasps and everything. They only get an inch. The inch is like, one digit for a wasp. But these guys were like 2 digits. I know they were 2 digits because they were that big. So I didn't have wasps. So that's what I'm saying. Hindsight, as I keep going with this, they weren't wasps. I've been bit in the face with wasps and yellow jacks, by the way. I got some episodes on that. But these 2-digit insects were hornets. Hornets. Hornets do not have... Hornets they bury into the ground. Hornets in Arizona get up to 2 inches. So I had 2 inches. Well, what happened was, right after I did that, shooting the arrows, especially toward the fire part, one landed right on my right shoulder arm area, 2 inches long. He lands on me, and I look over at the shaman. His eyes are like kind of big. Everybody else is like pretty excited about this because something out of the dark landed on me, 2 inches, and it was a hornet. And hornets can be kind of deadly. Hornets do not come out at nighttime. Another something to look at. They don't come out at night. Hornets don't come out at night. Well, here is a hornet landing on my arm. So what am I going to do? I was at that point filled a bunch of goodies and everything. I had no fear anyway, but it was like I just looked at him. I said, "Hey, hello, brother." I said, "Hello, brother." And right after I said, "Hello, brother," another hornet, another 2-incher, lands right on his hind end. And then another one, 3, 2 inches long, now are encircled. And then the head guy that came in first, he goes 1 time around. The other guys are following him 2 times around. They're still following him. I mean, they're like a little train. 3 times around, and the head guy that came in takes off. The other one takes off, and the other one takes off. And I'm saying in my mind, hey, this is remarkable. I think the shaman behind me would have an answer for me. He would have an answer what this means, because shamans have met. Because think about it. symbology and things like a coyote or an owl coming out or some kind of doves or snakes, scorpions. I get them all the time in my house. But I take them as warnings more than anything to fear. Although I think I've eradicated most of them. Hey, man, these ants just really like me today, but they're not biting me. This is positive. Okay, you. One more. That's it, buddy boy. So, oh gosh, I got another guy on top of me here. Oh, come on. Come on, you gotta say hi now, you muddy, filthy beast. Dogs love you, cats love you, hopefully. So, I look around. I want an answer. I want an answer from this shaman. What does this mean? What does it mean when three hornets land on you, do three circles around, and take off? After I've shot my electric lightning bolts out there, clearing out all the negative energy on this whole area, because it was pretty dark, pretty heavy, and it felt pretty cool after I did that because it felt a little better. And I turn around and I look at the shaman and I say, actually, I didn't even get to ask him, what do you think? I was gonna say, what do you think? His eyes were bigger than that. It was bigger than when he looked at that rock I showed him that he was looking for that he can't have. Now I'm gonna ask him a question: why? What happened with all these hornets? And what do you think? I just turned around, looked at him, and he said, "This is what he said. Short and sweet. It's time for us to go." Time to go? I thought you were gonna spend the night here with me. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say it. I just said, really? And they got up. Actually, he said it twice because I said, what? And he said it again. It's time for us to go. He got up with his whole entourage and they left me there in the middle of the night after they fed me all the goodies. And all I had was a fire there. And I said, okay. I wasn't going with them. I was spending the night there, which nobody does. So what I did was, okay, the fire was really roaring at the time, so I was kind of far away from it. And by the way, this is an inverted fire pit, a big circle that goes down in a big pyramid. I know because I've cleaned it out a few times prior to that. I always clean my fire pits. And so it was an inverted pyramid. And the one that we were in a cave that was now a dome, but it had a pyramid above it. Hey, isn't that interesting? A pyramid above, pyramid below. But there are some stories on that I can't go into right now. So I'm laying around this because I've been fed a lot of goodies. I'm still not ready for sleep, so I'm just watching the fire, having a good time. Actually, I was. And I fell asleep. And now I wake up, and the coals are like purple. Purple, white, yellow, purple, a little green in there. There was some colors in that I never saw before. And I'm saying, wow, this is fantastic. And then as I gaze away from the coals, as I raise my eyes, around the seating area, which I never talked about, there's this, since it was for initiations, there was, I don't know, 18 to 22 people that could sit in a half circle kind of in the cave. And what I saw, I didn't see the people that left, the Indian entourage. I didn't see them. What I saw was, about 18, 22 gentlemen with more experience. Call them grandfathers maybe. And they were dressed in the best regalia that I've ever seen, other than when I went to a powwow. Many times up in Flagstaff growing up, it was usually July, but I went to a couple during the day, during the week, during the year. Just look up, kids, anybody out there, look up powwow, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The Indian dress is very formal, and it's beautiful. It's got feathers, it's got different colors, and that's what I was looking at. All these guys sitting up on the seating arrangement as I look up, and I don't know, something about looking back down on their feet, and their feet was like totally elk, because my brother did a lot of elk work on his moccasins and stuff. So I recognized elk, and then I recognized different colors, deer skin and stuff, and then I saw the beaded work and different coloring, and I said, "This is fantastic," and I was really admiring their shoes, really. And then I looked up again, and I saw all the regular headdress of the long feathers, eagle feathers, and all that stuff that you all wear. And I looked at all their faces. I looked at all the faces, and they weren't saying anything. They were kind of closed-lipped. They weren't really smiling, but I looked at them and I said, I felt a camaraderie. Felt a very close camaraderie with all these people with more experience, these grandfathers. I felt very close to them. And what I said was, I said the exact same thing when the hornet landed, the first hornet that landed on my shoulder, before they went 3 times around and took off. I looked at these guys and I said, "Hello, brothers," with all love in my heart, because I felt them to be my brothers. So what happened was, I got tired again. I said, I'm going to go back to sleep. So I went to sleep. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I've already talked about my dreams coming true, and dreams being a message. If you look up the one with my brother's firearm, the firearm one with my mom literally pegging it to where bro's arm was on fire, in a symbolic way. And then if you ever have time to check out a 7-day camping trip where I had 50 minutes of sleep, but yet I did, when I woke up, the 3 consecutive dreams came true. I lost my canoe. Elsie the cow saved us. And that chick, that Viking chick, was trying to grab me and throw me in that bathroom. All of those came true in a 50-minute dream. I'm just saying, they're not for amusement. So that's what I'm going to say. This is the dream that I had when I went back to sleep. So I'm dreaming that I'm in a cave, but I'm dreaming that I'm also in a cave. So I'm in a cave, dreaming I'm in a cave. 2 caves. So this is what happens. It's this light, this bright light, this bright white light is right around the corner. I can't see behind the corner, but this bright light is there. So I'm walking. I got obstacles I got to get to that white light that's around the corner. And once I get there, the light is gone. It's around another corner that I have to go through all these obstacles to get to. And then after I get there, it's around another corner. And then after I get there, it's around another corner. And it's like I'm going in circles here. And all of a sudden, a voice says, "You will never get to that light because it's only a reflection." Now, at this time, when I'm going for the light, now I've been told is a reflection. In my right hand, I have all these goodies. In my left hand, I have all these goodies. And it's telling me, with these goodies, I am only going for the reflection. The reflection. They'll bring you to the reflection. These goodies will not bring you to the light. So in my dream, I dropped the goodies. Then I woke up, and it was kind of like a normal day. I got up and I said, "Hey, interesting dream. Interesting. Everyone left me." So I said, I guess I go back home to the gang. So I get back down there, and they're all circling me now. They're circling me, and they're saying, "Hey, the shaman came back. He didn't spend the night up there because everybody, they made this big fire. They had probably a celebration, which they did. I can't go into, and then all of a sudden, this guy comes back in the middle of the night. Everybody knows he probably came back during the fire time there, and They said, "What happened? What happened? The shaman and the tribe, they came back. What happened up there?" I said, "I don't know. I don't recall anything happening." They said, "Well, how'd you do? How would you, would, why didn't you come back with them?" I said, "Well, I felt like spending a night up there, which nobody has ever done and come back normal. I don't know what's normal, but it seems like I was the one who spent the most time up there without any problems. Now they'd come up and visit me during the course. I've been up there so many times, but every time I was up there, they'd do a day trip 7 miles up, and then by sundown they all skedaddled. And it seems like the shaman and his tribe left me there too, uh, because of what happened. I think it might have been a sign that he was picking up, saying, "It's time for you to go." And that's what he said. He told me, "Time for us to go." Which, by the way, when a shaman feeds you all these goodies, they're supposed to stay with you by law, shaman law, spiritual law, all night long. They're supposed to stay with you. Yeah, this guy had to go, which I find understandable now that I think back about it. Okay, hey, this is only an hour and 6 minutes. That's cool. I was gonna go 2, 3 hours on this, but nah, I think we're good. I think we're positive here. You got the gist of at least what I've been trying to talk about. Um, there's places you go that are positive. There are places you go that are negative, and for you to have the discernment on where and where these places are is what it comes down to. I felt very at home there, and I found out later why, which I'll go into it another time. Um, God bless you all for staying this long. If you these ants are starting to actually, you know what? They're only half the amount that I usually have. These ants have dissipated by a half, one half. You know why? Because I had no fear against them. They had not bitten me yet, and that's how animals and insects are. If you don't, you can mentally work with them. Okay, and I totally will go into that at another time. Animals, insects, and people, anything, you can work with them without killing them. And I'm down to it's getting closer. But I don't, I promise you, I should have probably showed you. I only got like 3 or 4 ants on me now. Well, I had like a whole tribe of ants all over me, and I was not going to stop this story because I had to keep going. I could have, no, I didn't do that. See, I kept my emotions to where they didn't go wild. All right. The sword. You are cool. Hey, the sword. You know, there's a sword. That's what I asked for at one time when I was actually on that premises. I said, "God, give me a sword," because the sword means the word, and the word is mightier than the sword. It all comes full circle. It really does. Our words are a vibration on what we say, what we think, what we believe are stronger than the sword. That's where biblically somewhere they say you're going to take the swords and make them into plow shells, or you're going to make well, utensils to make corn and stuff. Yeah, you're going to change the sword into making plows. Those nuns, they work me over. Sword, you are cool. Sword, I love ants. Hey, sword, I love ants too. I used to burn them with my magnifying glass that I have to watch you guys. But you know what? Doing that is very negative. And now the mosquitoes are coming in. I can't handle a mosquito, but I put spray on first. Ants. Actually, ants come from Venus, from what I understand. So do bees. That'd be another story. If you look at ants and the camaraderie ants have, they have a system, an echelon, as well as bees. And to this day, people don't. Where'd the ants come from? Where'd the bees come from? Where'd the dolphins come from? They don't have an answer. Where'd the bananas come from? Where'd the corn come from? Well, corn came from Atlantis, but I can't go there right now. You guys have been fantastic hanging out this long. I'm just wondering if you missed anything. Um, yeah, I guess so. Oh man, you just jumped up on me again. This little mud ball, the little fluff ball. He's muddy again, and he's. You guys are jumping at each other. You, go lay down. I have no more goodies for you. I just wanted to say real fast. What is a shaman? What is a shaman? What is a okay? A Yaki shaman. A Yaki shaman. And that's what I had. I had a Yaki shaman, and I forgot to tell you. The Yaki shaman said when everybody was running away, and they were all running away. At the very beginning of this movie here, I didn't tell you. I'm the only one standing there as everyone's there, and he said, "I'm a Yaki shaman medicine man, and 3 tribes hate me: the Apache, Navajo, Pima." And well, he said 3 tribes hate me, so I immediately said, "Who?" I said, "Who?" I didn't say why. That's the most important point. Why? Why would anyone hate that? But I didn't. I said who. So that's what he said: Apache, Navajo, and Pima. And then I forgot to ask why. Why would they hate you? Some of them say that Yaki Indians or any shaman is like a black magician or negative. Actually, that's not quite true, but it could be true. Say, but as far as the Yaki heritage goes, on the overall, this is what it is. It's well, the authentic Yaki spirituality is Yaki traditions. It's also merged with Christianity. It has to do with healings and sacredness of Mother Earth. It also, they call it the one source, Yatahe. And you hear that a lot in the movies, don't you? Yatahe. In fact, I used to call my dogs, hey, Yatahe. Isn't that interesting? And, well, I knew what it meant. It means one source for the Indians. One source. We got one source that comes down into our body that keeps us sparkly in our eyes and able to breathe. Once that source is gone, it's the way it goes. You go to another level. And the point I'm saying is their understanding, as well as the kahunas. I've done things on the kahunas, the guys that could walk on fire, water, bring up big tidal waves, and actually float in the air and all that kind of stuff. Like people in India can do. There's people all over the world that have done this over the centuries, by the way. Levitation. I'll get into that someday. But my point being on this real quick before I end, before there's no more sun and these cats are screaming for me, is that there's one source, and that one source is given to all of us. So by our free choice, we can curse somebody. We're just going to do them harm, but eventually do you more harm because it's coming back tenfold. And then you could bless, which will bless and heal that individual, and it'll come back to you tenfold. That's why Jesus said a couple thousand years ago, it's better to bless than it is to curse. He was ahead of the game. He knew about the esoteric law that has not changed ever since this planet has been made. It's a duality. We can have the one source, and by our free choice, we can qualify it being positive, we can misqualify it being negative, and then we will get an outcome. The outcome is going to be either positive or negative. And you say, why is this happening to me? Well, what are you thinking of? Who are you cursing? Who are you talking bad about? Who are you gossiping about? Well, what are you doing? Are you blessing people or cursing people? Think about it. Think about it. What are you bringing into your world, for crying out loud? You got free choice. Don't blame God. Everybody says, hey, there goes Brandy. Brandy's ready for some food up there. So you can't blame God because, God God did this on me. No, God didn't do it to you. You did it to yourself. You brought these things upon yourself. This is the law, the lessons of the law. The sword, black magic. Yeah, black magic. Black magic is only one source. It's how you qualify or misqualify your energy. There is no black magic, white magic. It's the source that comes down to you as an individual, and you choose as a being of. We are co-creators. We create what is in our world. We created ourselves. When people understand that, then there's going to stop. Maybe more. Maybe we will, and I believe we will. I think this is coming across to people. I'm saying in so many different levels. More love, light, understanding that we give out to people. This is the ideal that we're all supposed to do. Now, people have an idea about it. As far as an ideal goes, they don't have any interest in that. It's a nice idea. But as far as an ideal and me doing it, forget about it. And that would be selfish. If you don't give out love, light, understanding to everyone you meet, you become selfish on some level. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying. We get one source coming down. Qualify, misqualify. It's not too difficult. A child will understand it. That's what I'm saying. They will. Okay, the sword. I don't know if I've seen you before. Subscribe to me. Tell your friends about me. Anybody that's left watching me, definitely join the club. I'll join your club. And sorry I went so long on Monday, but I still got more true stories on this stuff. I got to stop somewhere. I could go for 2 more hours, but and live will allow you to do that. But again, I got starving kitties, over 22 in my backyard, about 7 on top of the carport. There's this guy here. I just cooked up a whole ham, and everybody's gonna get ham. I'm not gonna eat it, but they're all in for a treat. Cooked it for like 6 hours last night. Okay. Thank you for staying this long. Again, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm going to repost this. I don't get any of these questions I got in front of you. So, whatever you come across, leave me a comment. And I'll get back to you if you have a question. And if not, I guess I'll have something for you tomorrow. Because today's Monday. I think the 15th. Tomorrow will be the 16th. Tuesday. And sorry about Wednesday and Thursday. They got me on crummy hours. It'll be after like 7 o'clock I get home. But hey, so look at the ones that you haven't reached, you haven't looked at yet, and leave me a comment. That's all. Share me with Uncle Martin. Other than that, you guys have been fantastic. Be well. God victory. I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Anybody with an M on their hands? You're from Atlantis. Yeah, well, that'd be another story. Okay. Take care. See you tomorrow at 5. Be well. God victory.